5 things that poor people do that the rich don't. Have you ever wondered why are there so many poor people and so very few rich people? What is the difference between the poor people and the rich people? What does the rich people do with their money and what does the poor people do with their money? In specific, what are the things that poor people do with their money that the rich don't? You see, so many people in the world today are poor or broke. And majority of poor people want to be rich. They want to escape poverty. And before I start this video, I would like to tell you something. Poverty or being broke is not permanent, it is temporary. You can be rich. You see, 70% of the rich people in the world today all were once poor or they were once middle class and then they grew their wealth. And 30%, yeah, they inherited their wealth. But majority of the millionaires or billionaires out there all grew their wealth. It started from a point. They were once poor or they were once broke or they were once middle class. So no matter the stage or condition you are, you can always build your wealth. No matter the age, the race, the gender, it's all possible. One thing that poor people do that the rich don't is what? Poor people avoid financial management. They avoid planning their money. You see, financial management is very important because if you are poor, majority of poor people out there actually avoid this thing, and it's not funny, it's actually very boring to be able to be accountable for your money, to be able to manage your money effectively. And the majority of the rich people out there who are rich, they end up going poor because they do not understand financial management. I'm going to make it easy for you guys. I'm going to tell you what it means and the reason why a lot of rich people actually grow their wealth. You see, financial management is just the effective management of your money. What does it mean? In simpler terms, it is the ability for you to save more money and spend less. The ability for you to spend less and save more. You see, just imagine you're getting monthly income and you don't know how to save it, or you don't know how to store it. The money will always keep living and there's no way you can become successful if you keep spending. The rich, on the other hand, they understand that the one way for them to grow their money and reinvest it, for them to actually save, they try to find a way with which they can minimize their spending and increase their savings. This is a very important thing majority of people avoid, and that's the reason why they always find themselves in that of situation. Being poor is a heartbreaking stuff, and if you apply financial management to it, it's going to be very useful to you. Number 2 thing that poor people do with their money that the rich don't is what? Poor people always spend more than they earn, or they spend more than they make. You see, majority of people out there since childhood have grown a habit of spending, and majority of what they buy are things that they want, not really things that they need. For you to be financially free, you have to kind of live poor for the first few years, because that's the only way you can grow your money. Money always is very tempting. Money always looks for a way to live, but try to find a way to discipline yourself in order to spend less than you make. You see, lots of people out there buy cars, buy wristwatches, buy iPhones, things that are not really needed, things that they don't really need, things that they want. And this is one of the reasons why they spend more than they make. And for them to kind of comply, they end up getting loans from the bank, they end up borrowing money, they end up being in debt, using their credit card and whatsoever, because they buy things that they don't really want. Majority of people fall into this trap. You need to buy things that you need. Example of things that you need are food, shelter and clothing. You don't need a brand new car, you don't need a nice wristwatch, you don't need a Rolex, you don't need to be like a copycat to your friends because your friends have an iPhone X Plus. Doesn't mean you should get one. Do you really need it? You don't also need to borrow or use a credit card or be in debt for these things. Majority of people fall into this trap, and the rich on the other hand, they understand that the one way for them to actually grow their wealth is by spending less than they make. Again, it's almost related to the beginning. You need to spend less for the first few years. And I know some of you will be like, okay, if I spend less, how will I enjoy the life of being rich? The time will get there. For now, you just have to discipline yourself, suffer a little bit. The third thing that poor people do that the rich don't is what? Poor people have lots of money debt, financial debt. Result of what? Number two, they spend more than they save. You see, when you spend more than you save, or spend more than you make, you kind of trap yourself in the debt. And for you to actually comply to these things, you spend your money, or you need to get loans or debt or whatsoever, use your credit card to purchase or buy these things. And majority of the things people buy are just useless things, really, and this keeps you in debt. Now, debt is dangerous because the fourth thing that poor people do that the rich don't is what? Poor people allow emotions to control their money. You see, poor people allow emotions to control their money. Really, how? You see, as humans, we are emotional beings. We love, we hate, we're fearful, we are greedy. And the two emotions that really affect our bank account are what? Fear and greed. Why people fall to these emotions? Because they lack discipline to actually kind of maintain these emotions, control these emotions. Let me explain what I mean. You see, when you look out there, you see your friends, your family, your neighbors or whatsoever driving nice cars, having a big house, driving yacht. You go on social media, everyone is wearing Gucci stuff, everyone is wearing whatever brand out there, which is exciting. And you say to yourself, why can't I wear this? I want to be like them, I want to wear stuff like this. Now this is greed controlling you, and the majority of the time people end up purchasing these things which are not really needed. And these things are something that will always decrease in value, making them waste money first of all, and also making them have more bullshit in their life that will just only make them spend more. For example, the iPhone stigma. Every year a new iPhone keeps coming up, and people need to pay money for this stuff. And I want to ask my friends sometimes, why do you need a new iPhone when you can just manage what you have? The answer I get majority of the time is because that's what everyone is doing out there. You see, if you want to live your life like everyone out there, you just gonna end up being broke, because it will only affect your bank account. You will need money to purchase these things. This is why majority of people go into debt, and why majority of people spend more than they earn. Money, you need to not allow your emotions to control it, because money is something that is very tempting. Since we were young, whenever we get money, we have the habit of spending it immediately. We salivate and spend stuff. Everyone loves spending money. But for you to kind of maintain this money, you need to maintain your emotions, such as greed, for you to want to live a life. Also, the other emotions that control us is fear. See, majority of times people don't make money because they don't try to venture into the world and see what is out there in the world. They don't try to invest. They don't try to start a new business. Why? Because they are fearful. They are fearful that what if I lose my money? What will I do? You see, in the business world, or let me put it this way, what rich people understand that in the business world, fear is a good thing, because it makes you kind of more careful, but they don't allow fear to stop them from making big impact. They still go into it. They take risk, and they don't fail because they replace failure with learning. Even if they fail, they replace it mentally with learning. They call it learning. So there are only two ways to do about it. Is that you become successful, or is it that you learn? Is that you become successful, or is it either you learn? You see, this is the mentality of the rich. When they go into a business, they end up crumbling. They don't take it as failure, they just take it as a way of learning. And it's kind of hard to fail when you keep repeating something, when you keep consistently working on something, because the more you fail, the more you learn, and at one point you surely have to be successful in it. So don't allow fear to control you. And also, the rich know that greed can kill them, because lots of people out there have things that they don't have. They have the money, but they don't need to have it. They control their greed. Everyone, for example, I'm sure everyone knows Mike Tyson. This guy was one of the greatest boxers of all time. He made about $300 million as a net worth of his through fighting, but he kept spending, which ended up making him broke in just minimum amount of 10 years time. Why? Because he wanted to have everything he could think of out there. Since he was living and dining with the rich, he saw the rich had cars, mansions, and all other stuff. So he wanted to be like them. He started spending his money on things. Without financial management and proper way of managing his money, he allowed greed to control his money, which is a very bad thing. So majority of people should try to avoid this emotion. Everyone out there have this emotion. I am also a victim of this. my parents, my mom, my brother, everyone out there. So it's not a bad thing, but you should not control your money. You need to discipline yourself and hold yourself back from spending or making the next purchase. Okay, the fifth thing that poor people do that the rich don't is what? Poor people allow their time to be wasted. They waste time. Now you're going to be asking me, how is time correlated to my money? How does they correlate? Well, you need to understand that the most valuable currency out there is time. Not many people understand that with time you can make either billions or millions of dollars or pounds or whatsoever money you're aiming for. Time is the most valuable currency. For example, there is a man who is 60 years old and there is another man who is 60 years old. One is rich and one is poor. But both of them are both 60 years old. They were born on the same day. Now, you're going to ask yourself, why is this guy rich and why is this guy poor? You see, let me give you the difference between both of them. The rich one, on the other hand, they both grew poor. But the rich guy, on the other hand, what he did was, whenever he had time, he educated himself on how to grow his finance, how to keep his money, how to save his money, and how to have multiple streams of income. And he always educated himself on different multiple financial tactics out there, how to invest in different ventures, how to buy assets and other things. But the poor one instead always replaced education with entertainment. And this is the reason why so many people are poor. They replace education with entertainment. People need to educate themselves on how to really increase their finance, increase their income, how to be financially stable. So guys, I hope this video was educating, at the same time entertaining. Please like, subscribe, and share to your friend. You see, I believe we know more than 3 people out there who we feel we can relate this video to, because I can mention about 5 people who I know this video will be helpful to them. So think about who do you think this video will be helpful to. Share the video, like, subscribe, and turn the notification. I'm going to be talking more about finance in the future, personal growth and business and entrepreneurship. And